If you are feeling a little bit of shadow stuff around you, when I say talk about shadow work, I mean the traumas, etc., that keep coming. If you're triggered all the time, it's like, fuck's sake, what's going on? Be aware that you are being called to heal. Healing. And this is the piece that I want to bring today around visibility. And I want to challenge you. So I'm going to challenge you at the end of this to do something. Not focusing on the repercussions of being visible. Because visibility for you, for your business, for yourself is really important. People want you. If you have a spiritual business, if you have a business and you have chronic illness, people want to know who holds the key to that business. People want to know who it is behind the business. If you look at like multi-million-pound businesses, for example, Meta, you want to know the people behind it. You want to know what makes them tick. People want to know who you are. People want you to make mistakes. People want you to be you. So we have to do the healing work around the judgment piece of being visible. This is really important. We have to be able to hold space for ourselves. We have to be able to do the healing work. We are responsible. We are not to blame, but it's not our responsibility to blame others either. We have to take responsibility. Even though it's not our fault, we're not taking responsibility for all of the feelings, all of the things, all of the shadows, but what we are doing is taking responsibility of the healing work, taking responsibility of how we move forward in a lighter space towards the beautiful light that is calling us. So it is our responsibility. And this is where you get the difference between somebody who's willing to work and somebody who's not, somebody who's on the pity train versus somebody who's on the party train. And those that are on the pity train, it is difficult, but we still have to nurture and we still have to hold space and we still have to maybe guide them a little bit through kindness, compassion and love. And it's not easy. It's not easy, but it's just those that are a little less willing, a little less skeptical around all of this sort of spiritual stuff might just need that little bit more of the human feeling. Okay. But getting really seen through business is a key to building your business, your client base, because when you are seen, when you come in authentically, when you are seen as an authentic and integral person who speaks around not just business, but life. Okay, give me a second, I'll come back to that. But life and brings in truths. Okay, and this is what I want to come back to, this idea of we can give our all, but what we don't have to give is all of the shit. So when I say speak truth, we don't have to be on that pity train speaking all our shit out and out, because people will get bored of that. Because people don't want to hear all of the depressive stuff. They don't want to hear all the negative stuff. They want to know how we're getting through it, how we are shifting it, and how we are navigating ourselves. And I want to bring this piece of chronic illness in, because my journey, I want to tell you this about my journey. Like my journey, I was okay being seen in my previous job, teaching dance and musical theatre. I was okay being seen by 40 plus students every single day, all focus on me. I was okay speaking to hundreds of kids, 16 plus. I was okay being seen because I knew my strengths. I knew where I was at. I knew that I had the ability to do that. But then my life shifted and I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and it brought a lot of shadow work, a hell of a lot of shadow work. And I had to shift again into this new version of me to be able to speak about fibro as well as navigate it. And that was hard because at first I didn't want to admit it, didn't want to speak about it. I didn't want to talk about the illness that was stopping me from doing the thing that I did best in that moment. And that was teaching dance. And also it was a navigation of the brain stuff, the mental stuff, because I was really in struggle mode and yuck, you know how much I hate that word, but I was in struggle mode with the business side of that piece of the job, the emails, the looking after my team, because I was head of the department. It was all very difficult. And obviously I got to that point where I had the breakdown and I couldn't do anything. I was immobilized physically, mentally, emotionally. And now I look back and go, well, I would never have spoken about that in that moment. But now I see why it's important, because people want to know who you are. They want to know where you've come from. They want to know if them building their business is going to work, and who else has done this? Who else can I call on? Who else can I look to see who has built a business successfully? And again, I'll come back to that one in a second, so that I can use that as a puzzle piece or a piece of guidance and going, or even just that validation of, if they can do it, I can do it. If they can do it, I can do it. Because they want to know that life's not all sunshine and roses for other people, not just themselves. They want to know that what they're doing is the right path for them. And sometimes we can get caught up in imposter syndrome and all the things. But again, this all comes through the shadow work. So I want to go back to this idea of being successful. Success is interesting, because for me, success is where I sit now. I am a successful business owner. One, because I own a business. I own a business, but not just own it. I built this business, and most of it was built from my bed with my laptop. That to me is success, because in spite of having chronic illness, I still did that. I still called in aligned clients despite the illness. I still called in those aligned clients. I am still able now to create courses and magic. That's still success. And success to me, I don't attach to the numbers. Numbers trigger me quite a bit for very, very different reasons. But I've detached from numbers in terms of how much do I want to make this month? In terms of how many clients do I want on this program? When am I going to launch this, and how long is it going to take for this, this and this, and planning that launch out. So detaching from the numbers brings me more success, because when I attach to numbers, I get a lot of disappointment when I don't hit these numbers, because I feel like, oh, I got to hit this mark. I got to hit this mark. I got to hit this mark. And when I don't, that's when the disappointment kicks in. So I've just eradicated numbers and gone, it's not about the numbers, it's about the service. So I go, how many people can I support today? How many people can I really help today? The success depends on how you take success. What does success mean to you? And it would really benefit you to know what success means to you. So I ask you and invite you right now to, maybe this week at some point, to grab a journal and ask yourself the question, what does success mean to me? What does success look like to me? I know I'm successful when. For me, I know right now I'm successful. There may be other layers and other levels of success, but I class me getting up and coming into the office and doing something work-wise success. Like some days you just can't get out of bed. But even if I'm in the bed and I'm working on my phone or the laptop, if I get something and move the needle once, that's successful. But we have to set the boundaries ourselves, for ourselves. And we have to be able to guide our clients to do the same. Because when you have a spiritual business, it's not about getting clients to believe what you believe. It's not about getting clients to do what you do so that they can do. they can do well because we're all different. It's about getting them to do what is right for them. And then coming together and walking that path. So take some action this week. Dare to be seen. Take some action on your visibility. Take some action to get to know some people, and for others to get to know who you are. You don't have to lay out all of your dirty laundry. And again, I'm authentic. And I dare to be seen, and I dare to be heard. Because if people can't take my truth, they're not my people. And this is part of the visibility thing. If you are afraid of being seen or heard, if you are afraid of being seen or heard in your absolute, honest purpose and truth with your values attached, then you're not living your true purpose. You're not giving your all. Therefore, you will not be rewarded as such. I talk about being seen and visibility, and I talk about these. Yes, I can lead with love. I absolutely know how to do this. I can have compassion and kindness. But if I don't have boundaries, you get walked all over. So it's about having a good balance. I come in with strong boundaries, but again, going back to this visibility piece, is people know that. If they don't like it, they don't have to come into my world. And having that beautiful piece of boundaries and love, kindness and compassion, I have that ability now to not hit back at the judgment, because it's not about hitting back. It's not a game. It's about being honest and saying, do you know what? I'm really sorry you feel this way about me. And I really hope that you get the healing that is required so that you're never triggered like this again. Sending you with love and light. And a lot of the time, people do not know how to respond to that. Because if we fight back, we're reacting. And it's not about reacting, it's about responding. And responding with love, kindness, compassion, but with strong boundaries. So again, something else to question for yourself within your business. Do you have strong boundaries? What are your boundaries? Write them down. Have them visible for you to see. Have them visible. What would be your response if somebody, whilst you were being visible in your business, for example, doing a live in your group or on TikTok or wherever, if somebody came in and dropped a piece of judgment, what would be your response? How would you respond? Well, it's almost like saying, well, if you saw somebody getting attacked in a car park, how would you respond? You don't know until you're in it, because you don't know how you're going to react in terms of internal emotions. But when it does happen, take a breath. Take a breath. And if it feels right, respond. Don't react. Respond. And if it doesn't, say nothing. And if it feels right to shut the live down in that moment, then do that. Come back fresh a different day and just journal why you were triggered by that response, by that reaction even. Why you were triggered so much in that moment. Because that is telling you that you still have work to do. If you are affected by the judgment of your authenticity, your integrity and your sovereignty, that means you have work to do.